All right, a pretty good game going on. It's a 2-point contest at 51-49, a low scoring first half, guys. Jerry Ryan talking to us as the Clippers are hosting the Kings. Rhino, let's start with you. Your thoughts.
I thought it was a pretty good half, with the exception of the last 6 minutes defensively for the Kings, giving up that 18-6 run. But I thought, Jerry, the Kings did a good job on Kawhi and James Harden.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the defense, most of the points have really been earned. A couple of run outs there by the Clippers that, the Kings didn't do a good job really in transition defense. But really, this is one of those games that's playoff atmosphere basketball because you got to kind of earn your buckets. And Clippers play good defense. Kings are playing good defense.
We don't say that very often, do we? We're at a half, we're talking about both teams and their defense instead of their offense. That's kind of refreshing.
It really is, and you can see Jeff Van Gundy's influence
Yeah.
on the Clippers, and certainly I think this team, with the depth that they have, I mean, Laravia is a good defender, and Carter. I'm really glad to see Devin Carter getting to play. To me, it just made no sense with Markel Fultz ahead of him. And it's pretty clear now that Carter's got a lot more to add. I think going forward.
Yeah, Jerry, I think we've talked about it a lot. The time in the G League was very beneficial to him, slowed him down a little bit offensively. DeMar DeRozan, Jerry, only 9 points, but 6 assists in the first half.
Yeah, he's kind of taking what the defense will give him. They're not giving him much. I mean, no, they're really guarding him up, and they whether it's been a Derrick Jones Jr. or Batum. I mean, they put some good defender done on him. He's had to work for every shot, and really, so that's what a good player needs to do. Take what they give you. They're not giving you many shots. You better do something else.
Something else you got to keep in mind, this is the third of 4 meetings between these two teams, and the Clippers won the first two. So we're talking about tiebreaker situations here, which could be very important when you look at the standings. So not only do the Kings need to win this game, but they need to beat the Clippers later on in the month if tiebreaker scenarios look like they're going to come into play. This is, again, we got to also point out that both teams are playing without key guys. And, once again, we're seeing a Sacramento team being very competitive without Sabonis and Monk. And if I had told you 3 weeks ago that the Kings would win games without Monk and Sabonis, you would have said absolutely no way. But they've been doing that, and they've got a chance to beat a pretty decent team, not a great team, a decent team here this evening.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, of course, I think getting those guys at the break, picking up Valanciunas and Laravia, obviously has really been a key. And as Ryan pointed out, I think Devin Carter get down and playing some, getting extended minutes in the G League was super important because he hadn't played in the preseason or summer league. He just needed a chance to get a comfort zone of some kind, and looks like it's paying off.
Jerry, I know Grant said both teams are without important guys, but the Clippers all season, even to a degree last season, did not look like a great matchup for the Kings. How does it look to you now with the new look Kings that are on the roster?
I think it's really an even go here. I mean, you can't right now. You couldn't say one team is clearly better than the other. I think certainly Kawhi Leonard hadn't been the factor you think he's going to be, but then they've done a good job on him. Again, Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis,
Devin Carter too,
and Devin Carter. I mean, the Kings have really got some better defenders available, but this is this is going to go down the wire. It's going to be one of those games like Grant and I used to see. First to 100 is probably going to win.
Bingo. So glad you said
Yeah.
that.
This is a very difficult stretch that begins for Sacramento, because you got the Knicks tomorrow, who've had a couple of days off, and they've lost 2 in a row on this trip to both LA teams. We know that they don't have Brunson, but they have guys that are formidable matchups for the Kings. And we know that Sabonis will not be playing tomorrow. This is a really big game because tomorrow's the third game in 4 nights, and we know what normally happens in those situations. These next 24 minutes are big for Sacramento, very big.
Yeah, it's really, really going to come down. I mean, you keep up the good defense and just make your shots. You're going to get some shots. You're going to have to work for them, though. And I think Levine's probably the only guy that looks like he can really create a little bit for himself. Everybody else really is going to have to kind of get help to get shots.
Jerry, we at the point with Zach LaVine where it's don't try to create, just score.
A little bit. I mean, he's a bucket getter. I mean, the guy just needs about a half a step and he's gone, and can jump up over people, through people. And his delivery on his 3-point shot, I kind of forgot, kind of how good he was at that. I mean, hadn't really seen him as much as they used to. But yeah, that ball, you give him a little bit of space, and I mean, he'll knock it down. Yeah, we got a star. There's no doubt. He's an offensive star.
It's a
Yeah.
small detail, but over the past 3-4 games, the passes to your shooters have been better. The passes have been right there in what we call the shooting pocket. They're right in the sweet spot of where you want to start your shot. It's benefited Zach, and it's also benefited Keegan Murray as well.
Yeah, it really has. And, like I say, I think that the team is really doing a nice job moving the ball. Not too many turnovers, considering the defensive pressure that we're seeing. And that goes for both teams, because the defensive pressure is good. And you're not getting very one-on-one
No.
kind of opportunities to score.
The turnovers, both teams doing a great job. 4 for the Kings, 3 for the Clippers. So, that has been a real important factor here in the first half. Both teams struggling from 3. I think the defense has something to do with that. This is going to be a fun second half, guys. I'll tell you that. This is going to be a dandy here coming up here in the next 24 minutes. And I'm with you, Jerry. I wouldn't be surprised that with a minute left, this is a one-possession game.
Yeah, this is playoff basketball. These two teams, they know it. They know what's on the line. And so, it's just this is not a game for softies. You're going to have to bring your big boy pants on and go after it.
To me, it comes down to exactly what you said, Grant. It's turnovers. The Kings in the first quarter were 8-0 in the fast break points. Second quarter, the Clippers were 9-1. Both teams' turnovers kind of flipped in those quarters as well. So whoever takes care of the basketball, and as Jerry said, gets to 100 first, wins this game.
What
do you think about the way the game's being called, Jerry?
Good. I think it's been a good officiating. I mean, there's been ticky tacks on both ways. I don't spend too much time on that. It's like the Denver game is clearly one-sided, but I don't see that here.
No, definitely not. I would agree with you. 51-49 is the score at the half. The Clippers have been very good at home this year. Keep that in mind. And this is going to go down to the wire. Ryan, what do you think the final is going to be in this game?
I'm going to say Sacramento 106, Los Angeles 104.
I got Kings 105, Clippers 103.
Hey, Jerry, you just went 2 points off.
I know. I did that to you on purpose. I'm getting revenge on you, Ryan.
Fair enough.
I think the Clippers are going to win this game 106-105. I do agree with you guys. I think it's coming down to the final possession. So we'll see. It is definitely going to be fun. And as you said, it's a playoff type of a game. Really, I know we say this and it's not overkill. Every game right now for the rest of the season is like a playoff game because it could really determine a lot when you look at the standings in the West.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but like I say, I think with the Kings, they're starting to, seems to me, to play their best basketball of the year at when they're going to have to because the schedule's so tough. But I think the game may come down to just between DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard, who has the best half.
No, there you go. Free throws, Clippers only shooting them 64.5% as well. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and the Timberwolves won again, so keep that in mind. They've scored 141 against the Spurs, so they're starting to find their mojo, and I think that they're going to be they've got some guys back, and I think that has been a real big factor for them. But, they're seventh, but they're now 8 games over 500, so I'm not so sure that you're going to catch them. I'm not saying that you won't, but you're even in the loss column, but there's a disparity in the number of games played, but I just like the way they're playing. You got to remember the Clippers and the Kings entered tonight even in the loss column. These are huge with a capital H games. These are huge games.
Amen. We're getting some questions, Grant, about big boy pants. Are those the type that you have to buy in Memphis on the fly?
No, those weren't big boy pants. They're just big cost pants.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a high cost pants for an old little guy.
Yeah. Something else to keep in mind, and we talked about this, Ryan, on the postgame show, And I thought the minutes were too much. We talked about the heavy minutes that the starters played, especially Levine and DeRozan in the last game. And I have a feeling that you're going to need them on the floor pretty much the entire half. And then you got a game tomorrow. Just keep an eye on those minutes played, because you're fooling yourself if you don't think that's going to catch up to you at some point here.
It's a very good point. In fact, Zach LaVine didn't come out the first quarter. Usually he gets that first rotation. And I think, Jerry, this is the one, if you're choosing tonight or tomorrow, this is the one you have to have.
Oh, this is the most important game. There's no doubt about that. And as Grant knows as well as I do too, flying out of L.A. after a game is an ongoing process. It's always an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, just to get off the tarmac, it seems like.
Yeah,
from the time
it can take a while, but also understand that they're only now about 3 miles from the airport. It's a big difference from being downtown. So the trip to the airport is actually going to be 5 minutes instead of 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
That's why I'm here, Jerry. I want you to know that's why I'm here.
Quality information that I wasn't aware of.
Right. Jerry, you could throw out any 3 letters and Grant could tell you what airport it is.
That's exactly right.
He could. Well, he could tell you what kind of plane it is too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love taking off at night from LAX, because you got all your flights leaving to Asia and Australia. And I'd be sitting there on the plane looking out the window going, oh, that plane's going to Hong Kong. Oh, that plane's going to, oh man, would I love to be on that plane. That plane is going to Singapore. Oh, I would love to be on that. Like, people would say, shut the hell up, would you please?
Hey, Ryan, this is sad, but that's exactly true. I just want you to know exactly true.
You're going to throw them under the bus like that? Or the plane, I should say.
All right. Enjoy the second half, everybody. Jerry, thank you very much. Right. And we'll be on with the post-game show. We'll see if the Kings light that beam again, coming up in about an hour. Bye-bye, everybody.
Get it lit.
Yep.